Welcome back, everyone. Today is Monday, August 27th of 2018, and we have a lot to talk about. However, and I'm going to spend the intro of this video talking about this before we get into all the news, and I'll leave a timestamp on the screen in the description and maybe in the comments as well, so if you want to skip that. So I'll leave the timestamp on the screen now if you just want to skip my opinion, or at least kind of an intro into stuff that's not really related to the news exactly. So yeah, guys, as always, sentiment plays a huge part in so much regarding cryptocurrency. You know, most of this market is psychological. Aside from the manipulation, a lot of people holding are very heavily influenced by the psychology of the market. Just, 5% moves in a day, down or up, people are very susceptible to it. And so how people are feeling about the market plays a huge role in obviously their perception of it, whether they buy or sell. I mean, it plays a huge role in whether or not they're going to panic sell or buy in hopes of gaining value in their portfolio. But I think I made a video 2 or 3 weeks ago saying like sentiment is hit an all-time low. I've never seen it this low. And guys, I'm happy to report that I think sentiment has hit an all-time low. For sure. This is crazy. I've never seen the sentiment so low. So in terms of capitulation, if we're just going to reference that psychology cheat sheet, Wall Street cheat sheet, like the psychology of emotions and everything like that, boy, I think we're getting down there. And there's an article I want to point out that I know this has been talked about a lot, but I think it's important, and it goes into technical indicators also indicating about the bottom of Bitcoin, because that's what everyone's kind of waiting for. It's in the back of everyone's minds, like, where's the bottom? And then we can start reversing and going up. So that's one of the articles I want to cover. And then 2 of them aren't really related to price, but obviously potentially could have an impact on price. And then there's just another one I want to get into as well. So yeah, let me pull up the screen. But yeah, I guess before to end that, sentiment is super low. And before we get into, I guess, looking at the daily prices of all the cryptos, we can just look at Bitcoin quick, and we can try and, I guess why the sentiment is so low. And it's kind of obvious. I mean, we've been trading essentially the whole month of August. August started off on fire, going from a Bitcoin level of about a little over 8,000 to touching 5,900 again. And we've been trading really between pretty much 6,000 and 6,700 for this entire month, essentially, right? It's been a long month. We've really been in that very small channel since the 7th, and it is currently now the 27th, so at least 3 weeks. Pretty much the entire month of August, we have just been at the bottom of the market, potentially. That's what everyone's hoping for. This is the bottom. Barely any movement in Bitcoin and a lot of the top coins. We do see coins like Nano. I want to pull this up really quick. This is on the 4-hour chart, but you can see how Nano had a crazy month, really. I mean, even dating back about 2 weeks ago on the 14th, to now, it went from 70 cents all the way up to, I think, $3.50. No, it went up to $3.80, which is huge. I did participate in trading that. I didn't catch the exact top. I think I sold most of it around $3 and then $3.50. And I do want to buy back in because I think Nano was a really good trade, just in terms of increasing position. Overall, though, if I would be asked if I think Nano is going to be around forever, I really don't know. I don't necessarily think it offers too much more than a lot of the top coins, but I do think it is a good trading opportunity right now. And there was some good news that came out about it. However, I'm not like completely sold that Nano is going to be like a huge in the top 5. I would like that because I do hold it, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think that'll be the case. But yeah, guys, this is right here is responsible for what we've been seeing. Just this capitulation, potentially. I don't know if that's the right word for it. I don't know if that's what I want to call it. But a lack of enthusiasm. This is not the first time we've been here. Pretty much over a month back in June going into July. We saw it for a little bit, not quite as low, but back at the end of March going into April. And yeah, if this pattern of increasingly longer bottoms is to continue, then it would make sense if I don't like doing what I just did, drawing that there. And I don't think a pattern would be that obvious and will repeat. But if the pattern of staying at the bottom longer really was to be the case, then I think it's totally possible that we could be in the bottom for longer. And again, it's also possible that we don't, and we do have a breakup, especially if we see some news. So that's all I want to look at for Bitcoin. So the first article I want to jump into is just called Upside Calling. Bearish bets on Bitcoin futures hit a record low. And this is, again, a little dose of optimism. It was published on Coindesk.com by Omkar Godbol. And it basically just starts off here. The bearish sentiment in the Bitcoin futures market hit a record low last week, indicating the worst of the leading cryptocurrency's price plunge might just be in the past. The non-commercial futures contracts of Bitcoin traded by large speculators and hedge funds totaled a net position of 1,266 contracts, and the week ended August 21st, the lowest on record, according to data released by the CFTC. The negative total represents net short positions, bearish bets, and a positive tally indicates net long positions, bullish bets. And if we skip down to the end here, basically to summarize this individual's article here, the bearish net positions in the market hit a new low, validating an argument put forward by technical charts and technical analysis pretty much that cryptocurrency has likely bottomed around $6,000. Again, it could be lower than that, but as for right now, in terms of predicting what you want to do in terms of investing right now, it's looking like it could be the case. Again, be prepared if it goes under. If you do want to buy more, you very well could have a chance to buy Bitcoin under 6,000. And as well, if Bitcoin would go under 6,000, most likely a lot of altcoins would go under their respective levels right now as well. Right? It says here, break above 6,800 would bolster already bullish technical setup and open the doors to 7,000. 68 is kind of more a psychological resistance there because we haven't been able to break it. And pretty much if we go below 6,200, then that could indicate a more bearish move to a lower level there. In other news, we have Mark Zuckerberg's sister signing on to serve as Huobi's chain advisory committee. Huobi is a pretty large exchange. So Randy Zuckerberg is the elder sister of the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. And she is now a member of Huobi's chain expert advisory committee. She's a serial entrepreneur and author and is currently the CEO of Zuckerberg Media, a New York-based content creation firm she founded 5 years ago. And again, they cleared up they're not engaged in any discussion with Stellar Lumens, the cryptocurrency, which is kind of being speculated about a few weeks ago. And they're not considering building on their technology. However, interest in Facebook has been growing exponentially. If you think back to the beginning of 2018, Zuckerberg himself was basically like, yeah, I want to try to look into crypto a little bit more, see what there is there. He pretty much at least stated he had no knowledge essentially. But throughout 2018, Facebook, Zuckerberg, people that have worked for him, they've all, there's been so much attention and news regarding Facebook, Zuckerberg, other former higher ups in Facebook and everything, very interested in the space in general. So whether it's a good or bad thing, Facebook is becoming interested in crypto. Again, crypto is becoming more and more mainstream every day. It's happening very, very slow right now, but it could explode in terms of interest, especially from these big companies, and adoption. Again, adoption could go hand in hand with that. It could all happen very fastly. Right now, it's going a little bit slower again, right? Because people are less interested. I think within the last 2 years, at least, this is the least interested people have been in crypto. But again, guys, not financial advice. These are the opportunities. This is where people make decisions. When your emotions are low, which I'm assuming many people's are, just looking at comments, that's all you have to do is read some comments. They're pretty bearish. They're pretty not optimistic. A lot of people are every single day, every single week. This week by far is the lowest that I've seen sentiment. It's pretty crazy, actually. I did not think that this many people would be as negative as I've seen. Again, we still have positive people, but I feel like if I want to do a very amateur chart here, I feel like sentiment's doing something like this, and then the last week we saw something a little sharper, just a big drop down, maybe lost like 20% of the people that were optimistic all in like a day or two. It's very weird. I could be wrong about that, gauging the sentiment exactly, but at least that's what I'm picking up on. I feel like negativity is at an all-time high. And the longer we trade at the bottom like we are, I think that's going to continue. Now, I want you to take this piece of news pretty lightly. So Fundstrat's Tom Lee kind of always comes out with he's kind of a permeable. He's always pretty much saying that Bitcoin's going up. He's had the $25,000 end of year price prediction for a while now for 2018. So I want you to take this with a grain of salt. It was posted on Cointelegraph.com by Helen Parts. Fundstrat's Tom Lee, correlation between Bitcoin and emerging markets is sign of upcoming trend reversal. And I saw this on CNBC, I think it was a few days ago. Yeah, it says the 25th. I saw this clip because I'm subscribed to CNBC and I try and watch their videos. Basically, though, he just made this new prediction on CNBC's Trading Nation on August 25th, 2 days ago, Saturday. The head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, Tom Lee, has said that he still thinks it's possible that Bitcoin's price could surge to as high as $25,000 this year, And he has this based on the assumption of the relationship between the price of Bitcoin and BlackRock's iShares MSCI Emerging Markets Exchange Traded Fund, which tracks large and mid-sized companies in emerging markets. And he has this chart here. Again, if you want to read through the article, I'll leave a link to it in the description to all of these if you just want to check it out. Again, take it with a grain of salt. He, not to be rude, but I think he's been wrong so far on a lot, and many people have been as well. I mean, if I've made any predictions, they've probably been wrong too. And really, the last thing I want to look into real quick is just about ETFs, and this has kind of been the sentiment for at least a week now, and it's been growing as well, that the crypto community doesn't really want an ETF anymore, because I think it comes with the realization that most likely there probably won't be an ETF approved. About a week or two ago, those 9 ETFs, which were not physically backed, all were kind of denied kind of at once from the SEC. And so these are just a bunch of tweets from notable figures in this space, basically saying, like, we don't need an ETF. It really won't do what we want it to do for Bitcoin. And I think that comes after people, including myself, originally thought that an ETF potentially could bring a nice price jump that crypto so desperately needed, or people so desperately want, right? But I think people also have accepted the fact now that we don't need an ETF. If anything, backed BAKKT, Microsoft, New York Stock Exchange, Starbucks partnership type thing. That is really the best news so far this year, and it continues to be. So hopefully, and I think people are getting their hopes up about that, not an ETF. And even though the VanEck SolidX ETF potentially could be denied, approved, or postponed in about a month on September 30th now, I don't think many people really care about it. We don't really need it in the space. It most likely could get denied. It's probably the most likely out of all the ETFs to get approved, but at the same time, an ETF in general with cryptocurrency does not seem super likely at the time.